Hello, hello. Can I be heard? Am I there? Am I there? Oh, there I am. What are you doing? So, I'm gonna keep going with the adventure of the Great Ace Attorney and... Okay, so let's not make the story short. I have been waiting for the chance to... Right now, we're at Madame Tuspel's. This is the third episode, the third case in the game, and it's kind of a weird one. It involves teleportation and wax figurines. And are we sure we're in the past of London? One way or another. Let's keep going, shall we? I'm gonna lower the quality of what I'm watching over here in my the radar thing so that I can continue. So we're still with Madame Tuspel's. She actually hired Holmes so that he would pose as some of the statues. It's very weird, and I find it very hilarious the fact that Holmes just has to take it in stride because he owes this girl that favor. Okay, so let's try to remember a bit. Did you make all of these waxworks, Madame Tuspel's? I did. I am the third. Oh wait, she's French. I am the third generation of waxwork artisans, you know. Gosh! It was my grandmother who began the tradition in my family. Her fortunes were checkered, even through the turbulent times of the French Revolution as she did. But that is when she acquired a savoir-faire that listed astonishing life-likeness. All these wax... Wait a minute, I need to have my... Got to check something here. There it is. Just want to make sure that I'm not dropping frames or having issues here. Perfect. All these waxworks really do look as though they're alive. In fact, they look more alive than Hurley. Oh, what you see exhibited here represents the most atrocious of London's criminal past. All the waxworks were created in the presence of the real people on which they are modeled. In the hours immediately following the executions. That is the secret to the extraordinary lifelessness. That sounds terrifying. All walks in life have similar challenges, I'm sure. To carry out the traits par excellence, one must go to extraordinary lengths. My exhibits are a reflection of society. I create only that which the public wishes to see. Why couldn't the public have wished for something less horrifying? Do not fear. Sorry? This room is the only one in the museum with such a macabre theme. I hope you'll explore. There are models of famous singers, actors, politicians. Something for every taste, I hope. It was Harris who dragged me straight in here, come to think of it. Sorry, perhaps I should have history into things. And now? Tell us more about the stolen waxwork, please. It was some days ago now. Oh, I'm gonna move the microphone here so that it's better. There it is. When I came in here one morning, I immediately noticed that the waxwork was missing from the special exhibit here. It is your most prominent display, so that's why the curtains were closed. And I found the ransom note in its place. The culprit must have broken in during the night and taken it then. So this waxwork that was stolen. It was a model of some horrible criminal, I suppose. Of a particular horrible criminal, in fact. The killer who left a more profound scar in society than any other, I would say. The Professor. The Professor? Not a name I've heard of. I really like the... I had forgotten that we have an unconscious person on the ground back there. So, Mr. Naruhodo, it seems the circle is complete. Sorry? The Professor case happened at around the time I was born, didn't it? Indeed, Iris. Indeed it did. 10 years ago, a series of murders that broke the capital. 10 years ago? Yes, at exactly the time. How was it that I was making this voice last time? That Barong back 6, right? No. In this case, I'm gonna just go for this one. That Barak Band 6 returned from university, in fact. What? Surely he's not saying... So the big event that changed Mr. Reaper's life? As you've surmised, it was the Professor case. Who was this Professor then? I lowered the volume so that you cannot hear the audio twice of the music, but I'm definitely hearing. Is that? Of course it is. Yeah, no, here. Okay. Making sure that I still have my people here. Perfect. It was a series of gruesome murders that had all of London creeping in terror a decade ago. After 5 victims were killed, the man was arrested and put to death. 5 people? That's a lot. And now he's immortalized here in what's for all Londoners to admire and enjoy. But of course, he happens to be absent at present on account of the abduction. But I don't understand. Oops. I forgot to record. But I don't understand. How is all this related to Lord Band 6? You must first understand, my dear fellow. Why is it that Professor earns such infamy? It was due to the victims he chose, some of Whitehall's finest. What do you mean, Hurley? Those murdered by the Professor were some of the highest members of the British aristocracy. Yeah, that makes sense. So one of my contacts actually told me that he's not watching because he's in the case before this, which makes total sense. Those murdered by the Professor were some of the highest members of the British aristocracy, members of the nobility, even royalty, and shoppers through the country's administration. Members of the... Wait! Of course! What Professor Harebrine said! Lord Band 6 is from a family with noble blood. Oh gosh! It was the 5th victim that led to the Professor's arrest. As the killer's prey was a young noble by the name of... Clint Band 6. Oh my... Oh my god. Oh my god. No! I don't believe it! Band 6? Hey, Kane, how you doing? I like seeing my people here. I'm sure you can piece together the rest for yourself. In the wake of his older brother's murder, the young Baroque pursued a career as a persecutor, and eventually became the Reaper we know today. Let me get this straight. A family member is killed, and a person becomes a persecutor in the game. I agree, Kane, but right now we're gonna have to wait until the 1st of September. Right now, that is the date that we are aiming to have the new internet connection. I'm actually very happy about this. And eventually became the Reaper we know today. I had no idea Lord Band 6 has such a tragic past. Ooh, I got a lot of messages out of nowhere. But it was not actually something that's important. Wait, no, it was. It's actually my chat actually activated here so that I can watch it and check my stream. Oh, it was your messages, Kane. That's why my phone started ringing. Nice. Well, I'm afraid that's all I can say on the matter, for the time being at least. After all, I have work to do. As a waxwork exhibit? Like I said, he has to do this. He's forced to do this. I am afraid I shall have to excuse myself as well. Oh, yes, of course. It's been a pleasure, thank you. Well, none of the predicted scenarios I've been analyzing involve you coming to visit me here. Oh wait, that's something different. Oh, it might be. Well, none of... Of course it is. It's him, but it's not what I was thinking.
Well, none of the predicted scenarios I've been analyzing involve you coming to visit me here. It's been too long, it really has. I'm delighted to see you, Baroque.
It's been 10 years, and here we are, meeting in a prison of all places.
I can't forget myself what happened to Mr. Iceman, I just can't! I still can't believe it could happen.
Tomorrow the court will decide.
Yes! I have a young Eastern man acting for my defense. He seemed reliable enough, though. Oh, give me a second.
Not bad, not bad. Okay, sorry for that one.
It was an accident, a terrible accident. He assures me he can prove it.
I must warn you.
Oh, I know. I've heard already. You're going to be prosecuted, aren't you?
Yes.
Since I returned to England, I've heard lots of stories. Baroque, are you really?
What?
You know what? Never mind. I know that you have my best interest at heart.
My friend is on trial. I wouldn't trust it to anybody else.
Of course, I fully understand. Thank you, Baroque.
Until tomorrow, then. I'll see you in court. This is... Wait, I was at the end of the... Oh boy. It was literally next to the to be continued. But I guess I was too tired for this. I actually fell asleep last time for a pair of times. So that makes sense now. Okay, let's continue. I think that we're going finally into court, my favorite part of any Ace Attorney game. Court! October 23rd, 8:52 AM, the Old Bailey's Defendant's Antechamber. I can't believe it's been 6 months since I was last allowed to work in court. And now here I am, back at the Old Bailey.
Mr. Naruhodo!
Good morning, Professor Harebrine.
I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. The atmospheric pressure in here is off the charts. I've never felt anything like it. It's crushing me.
I feel it every time I'm here. That gravity.
Well, Greenland's highest court. But are you telling me it's fitted with some kind of device that can actually control air pressure?
That is not what I meant, man. Sorry, that was extremely modern, so it's more like, that's not my intention to say, sir. There, that's more antique London, isn't it? I think it's probably all in the mind.
Ah, yes, well, you won't let me down, will you, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm counting on you in today's trial to save my life! to save the secret of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine from being made public.
Teleporter. Yes, I understand. I know what I have to do. I have to establish that the explosion 2 days ago was nothing more than an unfortunate accident.
Well, I'm sure there's nothing to worry about, really. Justice will prevail.
No, he's still 100 years early. My commiserations, Mr. Naruto. You appear to have been lumbered with a most tiresome case here. Yeah, I knew it was him. Mr. Sholmes, I didn't expect to see you here.
That was very mean, Bruno. Leave him alone at home with Hurley. It took me at least an hour to wake him.
Is it? Are you? Hello, Sholmes!
Indeed, sir. I am he, Sherlock Sholmes.
I've heard all about your exploits even while living in Germany.
Ah, yes. Reds magazine is on sale in Germany too.
Let's continue.
This month's installment was a rhyme. Your deduction in the adventure of Silver Bliss was wonderful.
Ah, yes, a memorable case indeed. It concerned a snake, I seem to recall. No, that's another one.
No, that was a speckled pen.
Yeah, I knew it. Well, thank you for coming. I do appreciate your support. I'm sorry to disappoint you, my dear fellow, but I'm afraid I can't stay. Oh! I have urgent business at Madame Tuspel's. You're gonna go pose, aren't you? You mean your wife's workshop. ¿Qué acaso te ayudo para que sea más aterrador jugar Returnal? ¿Mi voz es tan espantosa que te aumenta la experiencia? No. That was your abduction, of course, but I have to engage my services. Oh, that's right. So you're trying to get to the bottom of that ransom note, aren't you? Yes, the week's wages depend on me, as does the safe return of the work's work. Naturally. As such, I intend to give it my undivided attention. Oh, well, never mind then. I understand. Of course, with my skills of observation and reasoning, resolving the matter will be as easy as proverbial pie. I shall return forthwith. Or until I solve the case, I shall have no money to afford a pie of any description. Are we actually that poor? We live together, you know. And that house is sure. There's no food for the table. What are we gonna do to pay the next... Well, now that I think about it, I'm not even paying rent. Because I have not worked for 6 months.
Oh, then you must absolutely give it your full attention, Hurley.
Quite, Iris, quite! But life is riddled with irony, you know. Whenever I give something my full attention, I have a quite insatiable desire for pie. One of the most universe's intractable mysteries, you might say.
Oh yes, quite, definitely, absolutely, I totally understand.
I guess you're a fan of Sholmes as well. Someone a little starstruck? Are you another Susato? I wish you the very best of luck, Professor Hairpin.
Why, thank you.
Before I depart, Mr. Naruto, a word in your ear, if you please. What's this about? As you have remarkable little grounding in science, I feel how to inform you. As compelling as this super high voltage instantaneous kinesis hypothesis may be, a practical implementation, such as what was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition, it is actually quite impossible. But the professor said the demonstration was a success. Yes, it would appear that he fervently believes it was.
I read Professor Bernie Brain's paper about it too, Runa, and I have to say, I'm sure it can't be done. It could barely be done theoretically, let alone practically.
So he's completely barking up the wrong tree? But how could an experiment that had no possibility of succeeding in fact succeed? That's a contradiction. I should set objection to that. And it's that contradiction that will be at the heart of the trial, I've no doubt. What's that supposed to mean? Now, I must hurry along. I wish you the best of luck, dear fellow. See you later, Hurley!
Well, it looks like you're on your own today, Runa, but turn up. You can do it.
Oh, what about you, Iris?
Oh no, I'm afraid I can't help. I have something I need to do.
She's living? Well, I guess in this game everybody has life. Except me. I see.
It's going to be a big surprise for you when you find out what it is.
That sounds ominous.
Counsel for the defense and the defendant!
Court is about to be in session. Make your way into the courtroom at once. Thank you for that comment. We're on our way. Why to slit? Dear Lord, you're already doing this again. An experiment that the laws of science say can't possibly succeed. And a scientist who's convinced that it did. That's the riddle you have to unlock here, Ryunosuke. That's the key to this case. Finally, after so long, the court again. Whoa, that jury seems interesting. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are sitting today for the public trial of Professor Albert Herbert. I now call upon the counsel for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready, my lord. I'm 6 months out of practice. What's more, I'm without Susato-san today. I miss her. Is it just my imagination, or does the air in here feel even more oppressive than usual? Joe, I must say I recollect the victim of this case all too well, Mr. Odious Man. Odious Man. Mr. Aspen was well known as a financier, though that was merely a front for his diverse criminal activities. It was only a month ago that the man appeared in court prosecuted by you, Lord Vine-Six. But the jury unanimously found him not guilty. Because every member of the jury had been bribed by the sound of it. These powerful London criminals are prepared to go to extreme lengths to keep their freedom. But 2 days ago, on 21st October, Mr. Osman. God, that sounds horrible. Mr. Osman met his end. Work of the Reaper, was it? If that is how your lordship would describe divine retribution, the fact remains that Mr. Asman's death was a direct result of the actions of the accused Professor Harebrained. Very well then. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people. Are the 6 of you ready to fulfill your societal duty? Okay, so one of the best jokes here is that these are supposed to be people out of everybody in London, and for some reason they repeat quite a lot. I'm wondering how many repeats we will get this time. Oh, okay, I don't know who he is. I'm most gratified to have been selected to carry out this important civic duty, my lord. Whoa, she's beautiful.
You have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, so call it. It sounds shiver down my spine.
Science, experiments, magic, conjuring tricks, corn trials, all are nothing more than performances. Any spur scholar that defends the representation of science deserves to hang.
Whoa, you're prioritizing another place.
We have to listen to what's said on both sides, the fence and on the cell on one. That's it, isn't it?
I'm astonished. No repeats!
It wasn't like this, my
Oh, okay, normal man.
Wasn't like this in my day. Wasn't like this at all.
That's the police killer Odermo lookalike. Again. Oh wait, that's true. And he's as exhausted as ever, it seems. Now, as I'm sure you're all aware, the incident we are here. Wait, no, as you're all aware, the incident we are here to judge today tragically took place at the Great Exhibition shortly after its opening. But the death toll could have been far worse, with the exception of the victim. No one was killed. Nevertheless, the dream of the science being exhibited rapidly turned into a nightmare for the spectators. Tragic turns of events, and as such, the eyes of all London, no actually, the whole world will be on this trial. It's our duty to reach a swift and just conclusion, I feel. Are you kidding me? This is the first case that Ryunosuke gets in 6 months, and it has worldwide attention? That's insane and a lot of pressure. Dear lord. So your opening statement, please, Lordman 6. At the heart of this incident is technology never before demonstrated anywhere in the world. One of science's latest developments, I take it. The government is keen to capitalize on the Great Exhibition to improve Britain's technological advantage. The technology being demonstrated by the Qs was described as super high voltage instantaneous kinesis.
Good lord.
It's designed to disassemble human subjects using extremely high voltage electricity, and, well, beam them instantly to another location where they're subsequently reassembled. There is such a thing giving within to the realms of possibility. Well, I don't believe it, that's for sure.
Disassembling people with electricity? My goodness, how shocking!
The whole idea is absurd. The hypothesis would never stand up to scrutiny.
Sir, I believe you're a fellow of the Royal Society, are you not? An expert in your field?
I am, and my word of the matter can be considered final.
Instantaneous kinesis is poppycock. I mean, that's teleportation, so yeah, we don't have it yet here. So this expert and Mr. Sholmes are in agreement. It's impossible. What is the prosecution point of view in the matter? The prosecution would assert that the accused instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a what? Was a success. You have to be kidding me, Van Six. I did not expect this prosecution to say that this happened. That teleportation happened. Wow. What?
What? Order!
The professor's hypothesis is currently under investigation by the British government. If it is deemed to have merit, a substantial research grant would be made available. The accused made use of the invention built on his new hypothesis to take Mr. Asman's life. In order to be the sole benefactor of the grant. But this disastrous demonstration was no accident. It was carefully designed from the outset to end the life of the victim. You're crazy. Are you actually saying this? Thank you, Lord Van Six. The prosecution's stance is clear. You will now bring forth witnesses to substantiate your claims. Gladly, my lord. Cape is off! He's already started strong.
Bailiff, show the first witness to the stand.
Hairbrain and... Dear Lord, really? We're starting with accused? That's bold. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court.
Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard Homicide Division. Was on duty at the demonstration of the day in question and in charge of the following investigation.
Albert Hairpin, scientist.
You were born in England, but have been carrying out research in Germany in recent years, correct?
Yes, that's right. After graduating from university here in Britain, I went to work in Germany and made an amazing discovery. Which is what brought me back. I had to demonstrate my incredible hypothesis at the Great Exhibition.
What you demonstrated was incredible, alright. An incredible explosion.
But the science was a success. The instantaneous kinesis worked. Everyone saw it. They must have done. Yes, there was the terrible accident, but the demonstration of my hypothesis was a success.
Well, that much is undeniable. It's shown in this photograph taken by the forensic investigation team.
This was taken inside the Crystal Tower, I take it? The centerpiece of the exhibition, no less. I actually hadn't seen this picture. The photograph that I saw before was in black and white, so I didn't notice that block. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah.
That's right, my lord. Seems the victim rammed straight into it.
I see. Very well. Submit the photograph as evidence.
As the court's heard, the victim of the incident was Mr. Odious Man.
Odious man.
There have been a number of allegations made against the man, but putting them aside for the time being. He was the man who financed the research for the experiment and the demonstration itself.
I see. So to summarize the situation, the defendant is accused of taking the life of the man who confronted his work. Would that be correct?
Exactly.
But couldn't it be that the explosion was caused by some malfunction in the apparatus used for the demonstration?
That's right, that must be it. My splendid machine, my first splendid machine.
Died yesterday, didn't you? And even examined the wreckage thanks to the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act.
What? The wreckage? The wreckage?
But that being the case, how can the facts be established?
How can it possibly be determined whether this was an accident or a deliberate and malicious act? Extremely simply, my lord.
I beg your pardon?
Isn't that right, witness?
What? Sorry? Me?
No, your neighbor.
Yes, sir. It was murder, plain and simple. Anyone could say that with complete certainty.
What? How can he possibly think that?
Thank you, Inspector. I think we had better proceed to formal testimony. You will explain to the court on what grounds you claim these experiments to have been a front for murder.
Okay, after so long. Witness testimony. Affront for murder.
The corpse that went crashing through the Crystal Tower had a broken neck.
Ouch.
I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projectile. That's all. That was my mistake.
But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury.
Fatal wound.
There was a lesion in his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. The victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fellow's the only one who could have done it.
I mean, if he went flying, maybe he got stabbed by part of the tower itself?
Extraordinary business. In addition to suffering a broken neck, the victim was stabbed in the heart?
Information I would really like to have heard from someone other than the judge.
Coroner says death would have been all but instant from a wound like that.
You could say, in fact, the victim was killed twice by the accused.
No, that couldn't be further from truth. No.
I have here the experiment plan document that was submitted to the security team. The victim stood himself inside something called the bear cage, ready to be beamed instantly. Second level of the Crystal Tower, about 25 yards away.
The experiment did not go according to plan, however. As the machine was put into operation, there was a large explosion. The blast caused the beam's transmitter to point higher than intended. Accordingly, the kinesis resulted in the bear cage materializing in midair.
Are you kidding me? That is the logic that we're gonna go with?
On where it subsequently fell, crashing through the glass of the Crystal Tower's large round window.
My word, one assumes the victim's neck was broken upon impact with the tower then.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. The machine was just too powerful. But honestly, really, I swear, it was just an accident, a terrible accident.
Unfortunately, that excuse can save you.
No, not considering the sharp murder weapon that pierced the victim's heart.
Murder weapon? What are you saying?
This is the autopsy report submitted by the coroner. The prosecution would like it entered into the court record.
The request is granted, counsel.
Okay, like usual, I'm gonna see this.
I was there in person, you know. I saw the whole look of this performance. And the only other person on the stage with Mr. Osborn was that disgraceful excuse for a scientist.
Then really, by all accounts, it must have been him.
Okay, 47, British. 2:20 p.m. Corny side? Oh my god, that's a coroner name. Cause of death. Hemorrhage of a wound to the chest that pierced the heart inflicted by a sharp implement. Additional observations. A broken vertebra, most likely resulting from impact after a sudden fall from considerable height. Okay. So, we have a stab, and that is considered the cause of death. But he also broke his neck, and a lot of this they believe has to do with the fall. But that's what I'm seeing on the right. But what is a murder weapon? That's the next question, please tell me that.
Hard to think otherwise. Really? Very well. Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination, please.
Yes, my lord. I need to focus here. It's been a while.
Okay, so the car that went crashing through the Crystal Tower had a broken neck. Are you suggesting that's because he fell from a considerable height?
Exactly. Which highlights something else about this whole rum business.
What's that?
The fact that the instantaneous kinesis itself was a success.
After the explosion, the cage with the fella inside suddenly appears out of nowhere in midair. So all thought the experiment and then the disaster, the so-called instantaneous kinesis did actually occur.
Remind us, Professor, what was the cause of the fatal disaster?
Okay, so he made a miscalculation in the angle of the ring. Oops.
Hold it!
So the angle of projection is critical, is it? And you calculated it yourself, personally?
Absolutely. The calculation is far too complicated for anyone but me to carry out.
Only you got it wrong, didn't you?
Yes, that's right. That's the point. The calculation is so complicated, even I can make a mistake.
Did people fall for that phrase in confidence? I guess I should try it.
I took into account the subject's height and weight, the wind direction, the ambient temperature. I consider every possible variable.
Did I? Get someone else. Oh, there it is.
I consider every possible variable, so I just don't understand how this could have happened.
Obviously, then you had to include the weight of the clothes Mr. Asman was wearing at the time, I suppose.
Sparkling comets! The answer should have been 3!
Oh my god, what an idiot. So much for safety first. The 3 must be for safety third. But the postmortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal wound. He's talking about the stab wound. A fatal injury, you say? It doesn't make any sense.
I didn't think I'd have to spell this out, but here we go. Just because there were 2 fatal wounds doesn't mean I'm saying the victim had 2 lives to lose, does it?
You're right.
Obviously, at first we thought the blow had tied to his spine snapping in half as well.
But you're saying that's not the case?
Look at your answer once I finish my fish and chips if you don't keep buttoning every few seconds.
But we all know that's a bottomless bag. The victim plummeted 30 feet into a glass tower. It would be unreasonable to assume that it was not the cause of death.
Right, that's what we all thought. But it was a red herring, wasn't it?
There was a lesion in his chest where he had clearly been stabbed by something sharp in the heart. The fence knew nothing of this crucial information. The prosecution received this report from the forensic investigation team only this morning. That was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility of informing the defense. Sarcastic and insincere. Okay, thanks. So, what was the nature of this sharp object? Among the accused tools that weren't used at the demonstration, one is of particular interest. This. Wait, I saw this. Yes, this is what... Oh. Whoa. Oh, yes, that would appear to be some kind of screwdriver. Wouldn't it come from...
There he is! My trusty little companion, Andrew!
He names his tools? Andrew. Of course.
Do you know each other already? He's one of my dear friends, like all my tools.
Oh my god. This kind of guy.
I named them all, you know. We're one big happy family. Andrew is my flathead screwdriver, of course. His brother Michael is a crosshead.
Well, it appears that your beloved Andrew has a red stain on his junk.
That isn't... It's blood. Beyond all reasonable doubt. No!
That's not all. The long sharp shape of this Andrew fellow is completely consistent with the victim's one.
Everybody's calling him Andrew! Did I just say him or a screwdriver? Oh my god.
What?
Order! The court will enter this friend of the defendants as evidence.
Oh, the long, sharp shape of this Andrew fellow is completely consistent with the victim's wound. I got so distracted by the fact that everybody's calling the screwdriver Andrew that I forgot for a moment. So, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm gonna take like 20 minutes just to check everything around this screwdriver. Thank you very much. Yeah, I know that we have a court case to deal with. This is important. And this initially shipped handle before. It's the same screwdriver that was lodged in the ground on the floor of the kinesis machine. Which could be important information, so I should definitely make note of it. I should have read that before it updated. And the blood. This is blood. Mr. Asman's, no doubt. This is the problem with looking at murder weapons. Great. One of the professor's hairbrain's tools is a murder weapon. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere. This fella's the only one who could have done it.
Hold it!
What grounds do you have for saying that?
You really need to ask. There were only 2 people on that public experimentation stage in front of the whole crowd.
The victim, Mr. Odious Man, and the accused Professor Hairbrain. And we know for certain that before the experiment, the victim was alive.
That's right, I saw him with my own eyes.
Furthermore, following the explosion and kinesis, but it went anywhere near the body.
In other words, only someone else on stage with the victim with could possibly have done it. And Albert Hairbrain is the only bloke who fits the bill. Unless you got some other bright idea, Sunshine, in which case let's hear it.
My learned friend Salas is your answer, Inspector. Can't a man have a moment to think? So that's all the testimony I have to work with? I had no idea the victim had been stabbed. That changes everything. Pansy keeps that to himself until now on purpose to gain advantage? Oh well, I suppose all I can do is press those witnesses for as much new information as possible. And we have a hint now, in the final one. Blah blah, blah blah, blah blah, blah blah.
Hold it!
There it is!
God!
Excuse me! Professor Hairbrain, do you have some information that may be relevant here? Professor? Sorry! I was calculating the optimum coefficient of electrons is 2 separate molecules in the human body. And the witness stand is the best place for that. It seems as though you might have something to say about Inspector Gregson's last remark.
Yes, that's right, of course! He just said that nobody else could have done it, couldn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Who else could have stopped the victim, eh?
I don't know, but there's no way that I could possibly have stopped Mr. Asman, as you say.
Eh?
Explain, please, Professor.
Of course, this cold-hearted policeman may not be aware of, I suppose. But humans are warm-blooded mammals with blood running continuously through their veins.
I had heard.
Then surely, you see, if I plunged something the size of Andrew into the man's chest, the whole stage would have been a bloodbath. No, a blood swimming pool.
Wait, it wasn't the heart.
But thousands of Londoners were watching me at a time. And yet not one of them claims to have seen a swimming pool of blood.
Well, no, I suppose not.
You see, not one.
True. I didn't see anything like that.
Well done, Professor! That was a great counter-argument. You're doing my job for me, what the heck? I was actually never thinking of that. Not even player. Me, you know?
Order, order!
Pray, forgive the discourtesy if I savor a drop from my hallowed chalice to accompany my old friends Adusing.
Adusing? What is that? Just, I'm not gonna feel content until I see this. Adusing. Explanation, I guess? A number of factors are cite as evidence. He's essentially saying the argument. Okay.
Here's to you, Albert.
Oh, you're the kind, Barack, but I'm really not that patch on you.
Whoa! No, you're not.
No?
I've neglected to mention one crucial possibility.
I have?
A particular situation in which very little bleeding would result from a stab wound.
Oh, of course. When a stab wound has the knife or whatever murder weapon or just weapon you have. Actually, what is going to be mentioned could possibly be the difference between a murder and just an injury. He's gonna talk about how knives and the like function as a stopper.
Oh, of course.
Inspector, enlighten the court, please.
Yes, sir.
Where are they going with this?
I know. Very well. You will amend your formal testimony now, Inspector Gregson.
The weapon the victim was stabbed with must have been left in his body while he was beamed through the air.
Hold it!
Whoops. What would you think then, Inspector?
With anyone, it's only when you pull the weapon out that profuse bleeding occurs. Whilst it is still lodged in the body, it acts as a stopper of sorts, for want of a better word.
I see. You don't need a medical degree to be aware of this fact. It's common knowledge for an investigator.
Wait, it said it here. It was found poking through the base, so if it was teleported there, it wouldn't be there. Where's the Sato-san when you need her?
If you ask me, this blood masked what he was doing from view with his body before stabbing Asman in the chest. There he beamed the victim off the stage with his fancy device, the screwdriver still where he planted it. I would never do such a thing, not to my precious tools! I would never use them for such dirty work!
I think you're missing the point.
You only use tools for their intended purposes. That's common knowledge for any scientist.
The fact remains, the lack of blood at the scene can easily be explained, as the prosecution has demonstrated.
Well, I found the contradiction that I wanted. It wasn't. For a simple reason. You say that while the weapon remains in the body, there's very little bleeding. Is that an unequivocal? Whoa, I got an objection. Who did I get an objection from? Sammy! How you doing tonight? Having a lot of fun? Oh my god, I'm so happy! Objection! I see your emoticons. They're actually very good. Wow, I like him. So now I have one more follower. Thank you so much for following my game, man. That sounded as if I was Mario thanking people from passing the game. Is that unequivocal?
Look, there was no blood on the experimentation stage, even though that's where this fellow was stabbed.
Sleep well, okay? It's late, I think. How late is it in your side? Because over here it's just 8:30. So if you're going to bed now, either you're tired or the time zone is very different today. Wow, 2 hours of difference? That's quite a lot.
The only explanation for that is if the screwdriver was still in his body, stopping any heavy bleeding.
It's common in medical knowledge, my learned friend, even on your side of the world.
Yes. What about the screwdriver?
The thing is,
We actually saw it on the scene ourselves. But by that I mean the experimentation stage.
What?
It was on the floor by the wreckage of the machine, poking through the metal grill. I went to pick it up, but the detective here stopped me. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson?
Oh, well, now that you come to mention it, yes.
Inspector, are we to understand that you permitted the defense counsel to investigate? That you contravened the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act?
No, I wouldn't do that. I just let him look, nothing more. I was very clear he wasn't to touch a thing.
Yes, that's true. The screwdriver was in plain sight on the stage. But it shouldn't have been, should it?
What are you getting at?
If this still had still been in the victim's body when the victim was beamed away by the machine, then it should have still been on the stage. That's right. It should have been beamed across to the Crystal Tower along with Mr. Asman. And beans found still lodged in the victim's chest. Well, Hairbrain, that's a good one for you.
Order! How do you explain this, Inspector? I don't.
It looks as though everything that the victim had on his person moved with him when he was beamed. If the screwdriver was still in his chest when the instantaneous kinesis occurred, obviously that should have been beamed to the destination as well.
Yeah.
This is a strange situation. Even though people are saying that this instantaneous kinesis is a scientific impossibility, we're still basing arguments on the assumption that it did actually take place. Alright, time to tighten the screws here. My lord? If the prosecution is unable to explain this inconsistency in its argument, we can only conclude that the testimony given in support cannot be relied upon. Lorben 6 is stumped.
Whoa!
Was that you, Hairbrain?
Do you have something to say, witness?
yes, I knew it. It appears out the equations hold. Mr. Naruhodo, don't worry.
About what?
Without delving into the details, there's no consistency.
What?
Even if Andrew had been lodged in Mr. Asman's chest, my trusty tool would have moved. Andrew remaining on the stage is consistent with my calculations.
I'm trying to help you! What?!
Ah, my eye!
What the heck? Why is my client proving my points wrong? What the heck is wrong with the guy? Oh my god.
It would seem your illusions have been shattered.
It would seem your illusions have been shattered. Clearly we should hear the accused's explanation. Or should I say, this brilliant scientist's explanation. Oh, just because it's convenient for you, isn't it? That's when I found an inconsistency in the prosecution's argument. Scientists!
Very well. The defendant will testify again. Provide us with a scientific explanation as to why the inconsistency asserted by the defense fails to hold.
In the name of Apollo, I will, my lord.
He's still 100 years in the future. And this time he's alone. Okay.
To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. My new hypothesis states the Kinesis cannot transport metal, though. Hence, the metal weapon will have stayed put.
Wait a minute. What kind of metal? Because... Is this metal?
In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naruto isn't an inconsistency at all. Mr. Asman was the patron of my research. Without him, my work would have been impossible. Now I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together.
Really, man?
So, the thrust of their testimony, Professor, is
But based upon his hypothesis, metal objects cannot be moved by this method of instantaneous kinesis.
Why did I have to say it like that? It's just teleportation. Why does it sound so weird to say teleportation? Why?
In other words, since the screwdriver is made of metal, even if it remained lodged in the victim's chest, its subsequent discovery on the stage despite the victims being found elsewhere is not an inconsistency.
Therefore,
Professor Albert Harebrained could still have been the killer.
My great hypothesis holds, you see.
wait, dude, you're the accused.
We had to make the cage used to contain the subject from wood for that very reason.
I was not addressing you, witness!
Professor Harebrained?
Yes?
Whose side are you on here?
I don't take sides, Mr. Naruto. No. My only interest lies in upholding my hypothesis. I'm a scientist, after all.
Is he working for us?
Or against us? It's very hard to tell.
Let's see how you cross-examine this testimony, my Nipponese friend.
Fire away, Mr. Naruto.
Here we go.
To be clear, I'm still on the...
Okay, he's carrying that out.
Hold it!
And yet your retort to my argument wasn't lacking in confidence in any way.
No scientist can find the truth without first finding self-belief. Those were the words of a certain scientist I hold in the very highest esteem.
But you realize that disproving my arguments puts you at a very precarious position, don't you?
A scientist should strive to protect himself more than he strives to protect the truth. More words of the same great scientist, you know.
Is that Einstein or something?
Words that are causing me a lot of trouble. Who is this scientist?
I'm afraid I couldn't tell you, Mr. Naruto.
What?
But as soon as I remember the magnificent genius name, you'll be the first to know.
Might be worth keeping the names of your idols to mind. You're wasting your breath, my learned friend. This scatterbrain even forgets my name at times. So Lord Ben 6 really did have a friend once, but I didn't notice hell freezing over.
I like that Ryunosuke sometimes has my sense of humor.
My hypothesis states that the Kinesis cannot transport metal thought, hence the metal weapon we have stayed put.
Hold it!
Your hypothesis states it? So this isn't proven then?
No, of course not. It's merely hypothesis, but a good one, based upon 1,000 of calculations. But it is widely known that metals can be decomposed by electrolysis. Yes, of course. So am I right? My hypothesis is clearly correct.
What is it about incriminating himself that makes this man so happy?
It's the whole reason that the birdcage is made of wood, you see.
Sorry, the birdcage?
Yes, that's what I call the C. obtusa cage in which Mr. Asman was placed for the Kinesis.
C. obtusa?
The jail cell in which the victim was detained. It does indeed seem to be made of timber of some sort.
A
think you do not refer to it as an instrument of cancellation, your lordship? In short, any weapon lodged in the victim when he was beamed away by instantaneous kinesics had been left behind on the stage if it was made of metal, correct?
Yes, that's it. It all fits perfectly with the mathematical model.
But the ultimate conclusion then? So the defendant alone had the opportunity to inflict this fatal injury on the victim, is it not? Ah, indeed, sir.
Someone beam me out of this nightmare?
In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Naruto isn't an inconsistency at all.
Wait a minute, you seem to be pleased by that.
Yes, another example of my hypothesis holding true. I sense some sarcasm, Mr. Naruto. Are you not pleased?
No, not at all.
I knew it.
No.
At the end of the day, I'm the one responsible for Mr. Asman losing his life. That veteran of scientists no excuse, I know that!
No, you're quite right.
Elder Court, did you have a close relationship with Mr. Asman?
Oh, well, no, not really. I mean, I only met him 2 or 3 times. And we only ever discussed my hypothesis and the project, and the research grant, of course. Mr. Asman was the patron of my research. Without him, my work would have been possible.
Hold it!
How did you come to know Mr. Asman in the first place?
He's kind of a criminal. Oh, what is that?
A year ago, a small professional science journal published a little paper about my work.
You're not kidding, that is little.
That's a scientific journal? Good gracious, I should need new spectacles.
I might have had an extraordinary hypothesis and great promise, but at the time I had no money. I had to eat tiny little meals at a tiny little cafe and drink watered down water out of a tiny little glass.
How do you water down water?
But Mr. Asman read the paper and came to visit me in my tiny little laboratory.
Let's see.
Yes, this is my paper. Care to read it?
Dear Lord.
Care to read it? I know it might seem small, you might need a magnifying glass, but I mean, it's here.
And offered you money to help fund your work?
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. I handled the theoretical side of things, and Mr. Asman provided me with an engineer for the practical. And the 3 of us proceeded to produce that fantastic machine together.
The machine that you brought to the Great Exhibition to demonstrate?
We had to apply to the government for some sort of inspection to be allowed to exhibit, I think. I didn't understand all that side of things. Mr. Asman took care of all of it. He was a wonderful man, really. I owe him everything. Now I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together.
When you say that you build a machine together, does that mean you were involved in its construction?
Yes. Well, not exactly. I'm not good with the practical side of machines myself, so the physical construction was done by an engineer.
Little remains of your creation, Naruto. Following the explosion, repair will no doubt be impossible.
Yes. I realize that. But still, if someone were to gather all the broken parts, they could discover the secret of my hypothesis. But Mr. Asman and I told over that machine for so long, we put our hearts and souls into it. I have to protect our work. So what's left of the machine must be kept safe. That's only fair because what happened was an accident.
That's the sense of the testimony then. Well, thank goodness for that. I don't want him doing any more damage. He's already basically proven that he could have been the culprit. But it seems as though all he really cares about is defending his hypothesis. Still, I wonder, what if his hypothesis is just fundamentally flawed? This is gonna be a hard one. There was something here. In case, let me see. No. So here's the drawing. Perfect. Here's the guy. Is it actually gonna be the glasses like I thought? Or could it be the bottom? Wait a minute. This is gonna be a hard one. Okay, so all of this makes total sense. This is the part that I'm actually interested in. So there's two options. Either this is metal, let's see again. For Andrew, I suppose, of course. The blood. Okay. So one of the things. Either Mr. Asma and his buttons is the proof, or the actual block. I'm gonna go for the paragraph.
Objection!
Professor Harebrain, you say that according to your hypothesis. Okay, it was the clothes. Nothing made of metal can be beamed by instantaneous kinesis using the machine you made. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Spot on. Exactly correct.
In that case, I'd ask you to have a look at this photograph that was taken at the scene. In particular, I'd like you to pay attention to the victim's face. The glasses! I knew it! You can clearly see that Mr. Asman is wearing a pair of spectacles with a metal rim.
What? Metal? No, metal can't. That's not metal. No, no.
We've already established that the proposed murder weapon, the screwdriver, was found at the stage. However, if your hypothesis correctly predicted that outcome, it should also have predicted that the metal rimmed spectacles would be found in the same place.
My hypothesis! My hypothesis!
Professor Harebrain, this isn't easy for me to say, but your hypothesis is clearly flawed. He's my client, but after blocking me, I'm not even gonna take a breather for this. What is the implication of this? If on the day in question the alleged instantaneous kinesis never actually took place, then it's entirely possible that the victim was killed somewhere other than on the stage. Okay, I'm still checking my frames and everything. Okay. You know, I'm still gonna be double checking to see that everything is being recorded correctly, and like, I'm sorry. And in that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit.
But my hypothesis is sound! I proved that the experiment was a success! The experiment was proof of all my work, my experiment! Oh my god, no!
I could say something here in my capacity as a fellow of the Royal Society. Yes, you're number 4, go ahead. As a man of science, there's one thing I simply cannot abide. That's a fraud who pretends to be a fellow man of science.
What? Great Scott, are you suggesting my science is suspect?
Great Scott? Oh my god, dude. Dear Lord.
It's just been disproven, hasn't it? Front of all of us. In other words, the whole demonstration was a complete nonsense from start to finish. Leave me, my fellow jurors, when I tell you that this man is a heel, a bounder, and a fraud. say the records. I say the records of that machine should be stripped down and thoroughly examined.
No, never! The machine is the sense of my entire hypothesis! It's protected by the Special Dispensation of Scientific Equipment Act!
What the devil is that blasted act all about, eh? Who made up such a daft rule?
I don't like the way this seems to be going. What's the best way for me to help the professor? Objection! Professor Hairpin has yet to perfect his invention. That would seem to be the case, yes. But even so what? Going to such trouble and expense to create a fake machine to display in public? He would have absolutely no reason to do such a thing!
Objection!
He had an obvious reason to do exactly that! For the research grant money! Oh!
The government was fortunate enough to have deemed this man's ridiculous notion plausible. He and his conspirators could have received a handsome sum indeed.
Conspirators?
What would be the value of such a grant? 10 pounds?
You're an order of magnitude out, madam. 500 pounds a year.
How much is that in there? Oh, you can live on someone that much for years!
The society has noticed an increase in bogus public demonstration in the field of science recently. Plenty of scientists arguing with each other to get the largest slice of the funding cake. People's greed is plenty motive enough for murder, I assure you.
No, I hadn't deceived anyone, least of all the government. My hypothesis is sound! The science is sound! Please, you must believe me!
Objection!
No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower. Which means that the experiment was a success.
Barack!
And therefore, the only person who could possibly have committed this murder is the accused!
Barack.
Where's this kid heading? I have no idea. My lord, if I may.
Yes, Lord Van Six?
The prosecution would like to summon new witnesses to the stand.
Really? Who? New witnesses? What would be the nature of their involvement?
They were spectators of the demonstration at the exhibition, who were occupying special seats.
Eyewitnesses? Very well. The court grants the prosecution's request. I'd very much like to hear from eyewitnesses to the incident.
The prosecution's stance is clear. This experiment was no postage. The accused killed the financier victim there on the public stage before the very eyes of the spectators. Now, my learned friend. Yes? It's time for you to make your own stance clear. There's clearly a flaw in the professor's hypothesis. I can definitely see that. Where does that leave me?
We shall take a short recess now, during which time the prosecution will prepare its new witness to take the stand.
As you wish, my lord.
So, in that case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes.
We continued. That was a very short very short chapter. Of course I'm gonna continue, this is very juicy. I did not expect Ben 6 to go with, yes, the teleportation exists. Of course it does. Why wouldn't you believe that? Okay, before we go with this, I'm gonna do something that I promised somebody else. So, are you tired? Are you exhausted? Wait, face cam for a moment. If you're excited or you're exhausted, something I was asked by Hunter Hacks to promote, or at the very least, talk a little bit about Camu Camu, which is an energy drink. It's good, so I don't know if you see it on the stores, buy it. I like the flavor. Now, with that out of the way, and just because I needed to do that one, let's continue. At least I was not... You have to admit that at the very least, I was not saying that this is... I forgot the name of that classic mimetic ad that Lee, Javi, and Gary promote a lot. I forgot the name of that phone game. You know the one. Riot? Something about that. Okay.
Mr. Naruto, what on earth were you playing at just now? Or rather, what on earth were you playing at all along? My amazing hypothesis, you've been picking holes in it from the start.
Sorry about that.
But you promised me.
Oops.
You said you'd prove that dreaded explosion was an accident, not a murder. You said you'd keep my precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands, but all you've done so far is try to undermine me.
Yes, I did make a promise, you're right. I said that I'd believe in you and fight for your freedom to the very end. But I also told you I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. The fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there?
But if I just run through some equations, yes, you see, it's because my work's incomplete.
Perhaps it is. Nevertheless, a man died as a consequence, didn't he?
Ow! Oh no!
You forgot about that?
You're right. You're so right, it's all my fault. I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster, not just a scientist, but as a human being.
Well, that might be a little over the top.
And well, we're the subject. What about Baroque? It's been awful!
Blaming his whole university friend to be a murderer, you mean?
He's a disaster, not just as a prosecution, but as a human being! Oh, but now, wait, he's the Reaper, isn't he? Perhaps he's not classified as Homo sapiens anymore.
Glad that's cleared up.
Can I double check something with you?
Yes, what?
The machine and demonstration you prepared. They were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume? There was no trickery involved? You went on the defensive.
I drew the plans for the machines with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn with the firm belief that science is only the future.
So,
yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet, but please, Mr. Haruhiro, you must believe it.
alright, Professor. I understand.
Counsel, defendant! The prosecution's witnesses are ready to take the stand. Court is about to be in session again.
Also, plural.
Make your way into the courtroom, please.
Why do I feel like one of these is gonna be Iris? It all hinges on that demonstration. The professor's hypothesis is sound as it claims. It leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Sean was adamant. Practical implementation, which was attended by the professor at the creative division, is quite impossible. So really, what should I be trying to prove here? This is gonna be a messy trial, isn't it?
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsels for the defense and prosecutions, are you ready for the new witnesses to testify?
Prosecution is ready, my lord. As is the defense, my lord.
So, Lord Van Six, I believe these next witnesses saw the demonstration on the day in question with their own eyes?
Indeed, they did. And as luck would have it, one of them is a police detective. So the testimony we're about to hear can be considered highly reliable. Oh god no, a detective of all people. The prosecution's stance remains unchanged. Though it ended in tragedy, the demonstration on the day in question was scientifically sound. Consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to have committed the exact act of murder is the only other individual to have been present on the stage at the time, the accused.
Thank you, counsel. The prosecution's position is clear. So, bring forth your witnesses now.
Brief, show the witnesses in. They, whose proximity to the incident on the day in question will clarify the truth unequivocally. Wait! Gina? Gina's the detective, of course! Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court to hear.
I don't know where to start with this guy. So he is like a showmanship guy.
My name is Balthazar Loon. I am the...
Balloon. Mr. Balloon.
I am the impresario of all the hot air balloons in vicinity of the experimental stage.
Experimento. Oh no. No, not German. No, not German. I cannot do your German accent. No. Okay, here we go.
My name is Wilhelm Drossery Sigismund Ormstein.
Wilhelm Gottsrich Sigismund Ormstein.
I have come to see the great exhibition all the way from my home in Bohemia.
I'm very rich. Did you just buy a balloon in court?
Inspector General Strange, Scotland Yard. I'm a great detective, and Earl Jones agrees. I was under security duty at the exhibition, and I got to go up in one of the balloons. It was amazing.
Gina again. She did mention that she'd seen the disaster from over the balloon, actually, didn't she? She clearly loved every minute of it. She's having so much fun.
There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage when the incident occurred. 2 of these witnesses were in one such balloon at the time, and saw a Benson fall from the skies above.
To make it sound like they were in the clouds, it was only a matter of...
it was only an altitude of circa 60 levels.
To make it sound like they were in the clouds, it was only an altitude of circa 60 feet, very low.
Well, you can say nothing if you fly too high, just can you? 60 feet, 18 meters then?
Thank you for your introductions. Now, will you keep your formal testimony for the court? Kindly describe exactly what you witnessed, especially those of you who had a vantage point above the stage. It was an incident, very Bill. I'm only grateful that my balloons were not damaged.
There's this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second another bang in the sky besides us. And from amidst a small cage appeared out of nowhere.
It fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower.
I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower.
Most extraordinary collective account, I must say.
Could I just clarify something? There's a detail in the witness's testimony that I have not heard any mention of till now. Specifically that there were 2 explosions? Wait, really? More precisely, 2 explosions in 2 separate places. Yes. When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2 witnesses was around here. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time, carrying other passengers as well, to be clear. Then, as power was supplied to the machine for the demonstration, the first explosion occurred. The so-called birdcage that contained the victim disappeared from the stage, and later, the second explosion occurred directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witnesses. The birdcage appeared at the site of the explosion, subsequently to plummet down into the crystal tower. I was very surprised. Suddenly a cage appeared before my eyes with a person inside. The blast felt so hot, but I didn't want to miss a thing, so I kept my eyes wide. Your balloon, kid. Oh, you're just gonna buy another one. I still have lots of money. God! Precisely who's this curious infant? I'm told he's a young noble of Bohemian royalty. Bohemian? Rhapsody? Apparently, he disguised himself in order to steal a notice into the great exhibition. Oh yeah, I'm here in London on a sightseeing trip with my elementary school. I'll have the benefit of a child's point of view in the testimony. You really need that? Then I remove my mask. This is what I look like.
Yes. I see. Delightful fail set, sure.
Yeah, everybody says so. Yeah, people are starting to tell me, so I'm just gonna tell them I'm here. Everybody says so. Great disguise then. Point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiates the facts for the court. Namely, that despite ending in an explosion, instantaneous kinesis was successfully demonstrated. And furthermore, until the arrival of the police, no one approached the crystal tower where the victim fell. Therefore, only the accused, who was with Mr. Assman on the stage, could possibly have committed the murder.
Yes, thank you, counsel. The prosecution's views on the matter are quite clear. So, the defense's cross-examination now, please.
Yes, my lord. This got a bit confusing because I don't see anything to counter here. They just told us what they saw. Okay. There were 3 balloons flying above the experimentation stage at the time, I understand.
See, all 3 of them, my bellissimi bambini.
This is Italian! I don't know how to speak Italian, but at the very least I can do the trick of the fingers. That could help me take an Italian accent.
They are very popular, signore. Some people will pay £10 for one ride.
£10? That's more than my annual stipend. Dear lord. The £20 a month, that is my pocket money. Royals have all the luck. I got up there for 30. Wait, I work for Their Majesty Police Car, you know? Detective have all the luck. If they're so popular, why would you only be operating such a small number of balloons, though?
Because if I have too many on the skies, they could crash into each other.
Actually, this helps quite a lot. I can actually distinguish the accents for this guy.
The operators for the balloons were decided by lots, with each operator manning a particular area.
see, and the zone above public experimentation stage is the most profitable. The other impresarios, they hate me.
Thank you, Witness. I think the court has a clear picture of the arrangement for the balloon rides at the exhibition. Perhaps we could hear more about what you actually witnessed of the incident?
Right, I can fill you in there, my lord. There's this huge bang from the station, and the next second another bang in the sky beside itself. That's why I didn't notice what was going on. Traffic is loud today. I wonder what's going on here. So you actually saw the accident happen in front, from up in the air? Give me a second. My window is closed. You know, it's just that the traffic is heavy today. Yep. Ain't it amazing what a detective gets to do, eh? I'm telling you, Ada, being a lawyer's a mug's game. You should join the force and we can go flying together. You know me so well. Yes, well, anyway, could you tell us exactly what you saw, do you think? Everything? We saw everything because we were up above it all! That touchy cop climbing up to the cage and that touchy professor pulling all the levers. And that's what had happened. That's where there was that massive bang and the cage disappeared just like that.
You are describing the moment the subject's body was decomposed by the electricity, I believe.
I didn't know what to make of it. There was no another bang right in my ear. I looked around and there was a huge great fireball right next to us in the sky and there was nothing there before. I'm gonna check with you later. And what appears out the flames? The cage, that's wood.
That description sounds like a moment after the man was being instantaneously through space.
It's my blowing in it. That's a 20th century folly, I reckon. This accent is kinda hard to make because I kinda feel like I'm trying to bite my mouth at the same time that I'm trying to speak. It's funny. But the people who actually saw the demonstration with their own eyes really believe they saw something miraculously taking place. Gods! And from amidst the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere. Hold it! So you're saying that you witnessed the actual moment that the instantaneous kinesis took place? During my stay in London, I have seen many extraordinary things. The great exhibition itself, this instantaneous kinesis, big explosions, the British cordons and strange creatures. Sorry? Strange creatures? Yeah, you, a most unusual creature from the East. Oh! Yes! But I see princesses wearing masks every day of the week. Did you also see the moment that the cage materialized, Mr. Lu? Oh, no. Did not see the explosion myself, however. Cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower. Did you see that actually happen? No. In reality, I did not. I saw after it hit the tower. There was a grand confusion around the stage. I ran to see what had happened. I was terrorized by the idea that one of my balloons had crashed. I suppose they are his livelihood. But when I look up to the sky, all my precious balloons were still there. I saw it though. I saw it slam into the tower. After all, I am a detective now. 997, okay. Then tell us what you saw, Inspector Lestrade. That's what I like to hear! Actually, yeah, because I think that the character in the original Sherlock Holmes books was actually named Inspector Lestrade. I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower. Hold it! Was it you who gave the order to keep people away? Use your head, Nodo. How could it have been me? I was up in a balloon, weren't I? Right. So cause I weren't available, it was Boss who had to leg it over there. It was getting shoved and kicked all over by the panic inspector as he tried to seal off the scene. It was a real sight to behold, I can tell ya. Amazing!
Inspector Gregson. So anyway, I couldn't see the cage that well because all of the smoke.
Excuse me.
Oops. Master Goss, do you have something to say? Something that struck you about what you just heard, perhaps? But I just have as you failing to remember my full name. Sorry? Okay, I made a mistake, but this conversation is cold! Which is Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund Ormstein. Bill, my learned friend's power of recollection are clearly abysmal. Perhaps he has forgotten where he is. My teacher at elementary school said if you were rude enough to forget someone's name, you will have the most awful life imaginable. Are all Bohemians brought to endure a life of such great pain? Well, it's important to listen to, so please pay attention to the testimony. That was a complete accident, but I love this. The prosecution really is asserting that the demonstration was genuine. What if it was actually some kind of switcheroo trick instead? That would mean that the victim was never actually on the stage in the first place. The two explosions would have thrown everyone watching into a panic for sure. I think I need to find out more about what exactly people saw at the time. I'm gonna have to repress at the last one because, well, it's like what I just did.
Hold it!
She didn't use the order. I'm sorry about Gregson. This is the case that was... I didn't really want to say it, to be honest. I was scared out of my wits. Get together, Inspector. So she actually got scared. Okay. So, we have an extra check here.
Hold it!
It's on the fireball.
That's Peter.
Excuse me, Guts? Master Guts, does your memory of the day differ? My teacher at elementary school said that when you meet someone for the first time, you should always use their full name. God damn it. Sorry. Yes, what was it again? Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund Ormstein. Just the four names then. The point is, do you have something to say? Something to add in response to Detective Gina Lestrad's last remark, perhaps? Oi! Get it right, Odo! It's Inspector Lestrade! Why does everybody have a problem with how I address them at the moment? Oh. So this is not what I saw. Huh? Yeah. There was a second explosion and it was right beside the balloons, that is true. But I'm sure... Which is what I said in it. A minute there was nothing there and then it's a massive explosion. My teacher at elementary school said that when somebody else is speaking, if you're rude enough to interrupt, you will have the most awful life imaginable. You want another balloon, boy? Are all Bohemians brought out to be so full of joy? He's buying another one. Balthazar Loon. Balloon. Just before the second explosion happened next to our balloon, I clearly witnessed a green balloon flying in the sea sky. A green balloon? Oh, you what? I never seen nothing like that. Yes, well I did. I saw it, and you can say I didn't. I will complain to this council. I will cry and scream. My testimony is the truth. I am Bohemian. Friends, you cannot say it's a lie. That not allowed. When the bleeding royalty card are you typical? It is the orphan who likes to remind people she works
for Her Majesty's police.
In that case, young man, I must ask you to amend your formal testimony in the interest of cordial national relationships between Great Britain and Bohemia. Rhapsody.
It was not the sky that exploded, it was a great balloon that was next to us at the time.
Hold it!
A green balloon? You say, are you sure about that? Of course I'm sure. I'm a proud Bohemian prince. All these questions are making me boring. I think you mean bored. Ugh, English is very annoying. The language is my countryman is far superior. Well, to be fair, English is very weird. Ragazzo, it is very wrong to lie. Lie? Flying balloons never explode. For the same reason the planets never explode. It is logical. It is logical. Please tell me that doesn't mean logical. If you insult me, you insult all the Bohemians. Must die. I will have the army come and shoot all of your stupid balloons out of the sky. All of them. Also, let me buy you. Here you are, your highness. If only all the international incidents were so easily resolved. Now that peaceful relations have been restored here in the courtroom, perhaps we could return to the testimony. I love that emoticon. That is actually one of the emoticons that I like the most, the little totodile. Did you also see the moment that the cage materialized, Mr. Lu? No, I did not see the explosion myself. However, the cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower. Did you say a green balloon? Piece of green cloth. It could be this one. Torn piece of canvas like making these voices is actually hurt in my throat. A torn piece of canvas-like material backed with rubber that was found under the experimental stage at the exhibition grounds. There are scorch marks of the edges. Well, this is not an objection, but more like an agreement. Then that works.
Objection!
Oh boy. I already started making mistakes! That last statement would seem to be at odds somehow with the evidence.
You just counsel to explain the somehows to the court, not the other way around.
I just think they're jar though, don't you think?
I think is that this whole exchange has been extremely jarring, yes.
Perhaps I need to reconsider this. Loon, could it be that actually one of your balloons was damaged?
Hold it!
Okay, the 3 balloons. Sì, bellissimo, popular, signore, 10 pounds for flying through the air and 20 fancy months is my pocket money. Royals have all the luck. And I got free, blah 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 blah. They could crash into each other. Particular area. Profitable. Can feel you in there, my lord. Okay. Could it be? Okay, so the kid asks that the balloons were damaged. But I'm being told by Loon that none of the balloons were damaged. And this part that actually gets me. Is this? Wait. It is this! This is not just rubber from a balloon. The texture that it has makes me think that it's not just a normal kit-like balloon. This is definitely one of this. This is scary, but let's go.
Objection!
It was correct!
Mr. Loon, in your testimony, you said that all three of the balloons you had operating at the time were undamaged.
See, that is correct. If they had been caught in the explosions, it would have been terrible.
I wonder if you might know what this is.
Ah. Oh, I think it may be... See, part of a balloon. A bone piece of the fabric of the envelope.
Sorry? The envelope?
Pardon. That is the large round part of the balloon which becomes filled with the hot air. It is made from very thick fabric lined with rubber. You do not want it to rip when you're in the sky.
Is what I thought. This piece of cloth was found near the experimental stage. In other words, as Master Cots testified, a green balloon did indeed explode that day.
Oh,
If all the balloons in the sky above the experimentation stage belong to you, Mr. Loon, then your statement that they were all undamaged clearly contradicts the evidence.
No!
The balloon exploded that day. Why didn't the man say so?
Maybe everybody on board was killed.
Oh, no. Have you spent 10 whole pounds for the experience? Wow, how awful. Seems to me like those things crash 50% of the time.
Objection!
The instantaneous kinesis did occur, but after the explosion on this stage, the point of materialization shifted to a location occupied by a balloon.
The balloon to explode? Well, yes, it's eminently plausible.
How unfortunate. Traffic accident as it were, but it changes nothing about the pertinent facts.
This guy cannot accept!
Why not, Mr. Loon?
You're suggesting that I'm a liar! That person's died in a balloon incidente!
There's no need to get fired up, Mr. Loon. The victim was the sole fatality that day.
That's right, and I prove it! Balthazar Loon is not a liar! There was no such balloon in the sky! It is non-possible!
You're saying it's impossible? Why? Whoa, there was a lower of frames here. It's a good thing that I'm recording. This call has more important matters to discuss than the number of balloons that were operated. Okay, seems that we're having a little bit of network issues, so I'm just gonna give it a second. Because for some reason, I'm noticing a lot of lag in the stream that I have as a test, the phone in front of the screen. And I see that a lot of frames are being dropped in my computer. So, that could be difficult. Okay, seems that we're going back and no, it's... Well, I've been streaming for almost 2 hours, so this is what I'm gonna do. Can I keep going for a bit? We'll try to make sure that the internet is still stable again. If something happens, I'm gonna save later. I mean, after all, we have already gone through 2 continues. Yes, one of them was very close to the current situation. Dear Lord, the stream is very behind. I can see this, and it keeps dropping more and more frames. Okay, let's finish this testimony and let's see what happens. Okay. Okay. This court has more important matters to discuss than the number of balloons that were operating that day. Objection! But we can't ignore the fact that nobody appears to know anything about this other balloon until now. My lord, the defense calls for further testimony from Mr. Loon.
I concur. There is clearly more to the truth here than meets the eye. It's imperative that we clear up the issue on this phantom balloon, I feel. Witness, you will give supplementary testimony about the balloons you were operating at the exhibition.
Ah, grazie, my lord.
Grazie, my lord. More like it.
As I said, Balthazar Loon is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe!
But you can't get away from the fact that a burnt up bit of blood was found at the scene, can you? The coppers at the jar reckon it was probably some debris known from the explosion on the stage.
This stupid ragazzo is mistaken! My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway! Whoa! Really like how they said it like that. So your assertion is that the balloon this child was not one belonging to you? Sí, exactamente! If he even saw a balloon in the first place. I do not like the sound of it. It is very bad for business. I have a good mind to sue the land of Bohemia.
If you attack us, we will fight back! If we fall, all of us! Now give me balloon.
Here you go, your majesty.
What happened to all our war? Mr. Loon certainly doesn't appear to be lying. But that doesn't change the fact that the testimony and evidence are contradictory here. If the defense is unable to find fault with the witness's statements, the court must consider them the truth. Think long and hard, my learned friend. The situation has clearly changed now. I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes.
Counsel, I now cross-examine the witnesses. As I said, Balthazar Loon is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. Hold it.
You couldn't just have forgotten one, maybe?
Finore. I might not notice if I was given 100 lentils and one was missing. But we are talking about 3 enormous balloons! Do you believe I could make a mistake about something so grand and expensive?
I took the liberty of having Inspector Grayson check this gentleman's warehouse. I have the report here. It clearly says a total of 3 balloons.
It will appear no mistake has been made then.
Surely Miss Lestrade could have been sent for such a menial task. What? Me? I'll tell you what I told boss. Stinkings like me can only count up to 2.
God! Gina, what the heck?
Obviously that ain't true, but the boss bought it and said I'd have to go himself in the case. Okay.
All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, it could be a disaster.
It would be kind of a catastrophe if they fell to the ground for any reason, I think. On that note, Mr. Loon, tell me, what is it that keeps this balloon in the sky?
Are you an idiota?
I love this guy.
Sorry? That is like asking why does a candle burn bright? It burns bright because it burns bright, and a balloon flies because it flies. What else?
That must be Italian for I don't know. Knew it was Italian.
There are 2 types of flying balloons: hot air balloons and gas balloons.
Hot air balloons work on the principle of hot air being less dense to cold air, whereas gas balloons derive their lift by using a gas that is lighter than air.
See, and my balloons are filled with the magic gas. I believe.
Hydrogen, lighter than air, but, well, highly explosive.
Good lord! I do not permit smoking of the cigarette in any of my balloons. The magic does not like fire.
And a small spark of static electricity could cause the entire balloon to explode.
So, what is the beam? The beam is electricity.
What is the matter with you, Signore? All that comes out of your mouth is explosion, explosion! I tell you, my balloons are perfectly safe. They have to be, or I cannot eat. None of my balloons exploded today. I'm completely sure. But if you still say that is what happened, Mamma Mia, you must show me the proof.
Alright. So, Mr. Loon had 3 balloons in the air that day. None of them were damaged. Then, what was the one that exploded? But you can get away from the fact that a bit of the cloud was found at the same time. Yeah. Surprising to find the piece of fabric still at the scene, actually. Didn't you search the area surrounding the stage for clues? Nah, I'm not into picking stuff off the ground, me. Always works out way better diving into people's pockets instead. Gina! So much for the new career path. I knew the boss was on his hands and knees picking up all kind of rubbish from the floor. Think it's the cage went crashing into the crystal tower, didn't it? So that was more or less the investigation was going on. Even so, I would have thought someone from Scotland Yard would have gathered up as evidence. So, listen to you stumble across a bit of balloon and somehow you did the best investigation in the world. Oh my god, this Ryunosuke, I'm the best investigator. Pardon? Well, you ain't got a bash at it like this one. I could have just do with this if I wanted it. Wouldn't put it past here. Come to think of it, there was talk of some scorching on the ground at the meeting we had about the investigation. The coppers at the jar reckon it was probably some debris thrown from the explosion at the stage. Hold it! There was considerable damage to the stage and surrounding area, wasn't there? Yeah, some of the cops were watching the experiment were calling the blast an ninja. Good job, the old contraption didn't kill Opera. I hadn't even considered that. It seems there was great panic after the incident occurred. Nevertheless, the police shouldn't have missed a torn piece of the envelope from a balloon. Inspector Gregson can expect repercussions. Like me sweeping all those fish and chips, huh? Swiping. Swiper no swiping. Ah, demands so pleasure. None of these matter, the scrap of balloon envelopes mean nothing, niente! Ouch. The stupido rascasso's mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag strip anyway. You mean the color is wrong? Si, signore. I don't have any green balloons in my warehouse. And yet a piece of green cloth was found at the scene. And it's unmistakably from a balloon. Well, I do not know how that can be. For the sake of argument, let's say that a green balloon did explode above the stage. One second. There it is. Couldn't therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question. Why not? There have been recreational balloon flights over Hyde Park operating from before the Great Exhibition. One could have exploded on some earlier day. Unfortunate, as I'm sure you'd agree. You believe it may have been some sort from You believe it may have been from some earlier balloon accident that predates the exhibition? Si, exactamente! As the singer says, it is not from one of my balloons. It's clearly this little ragazzo from Bohemia is mistaken about what he saw. He's angry. If you come to my warehouse, you will see my 3 bellissimi balloons, all present and corretto. I've already verified Mr. Loon's annual business reports, and he's got the same number of balloons for a year now. Well, as ever, more than 6.
disarming result. As through. In that case, is the young boy just imagining things? Ragazzo. Ragazzo means kid. I thought Mr. Loon's testimony just doesn't quite add up. The young Bohemian boy claims to have seen another report balloon, but Mr. Loon vehemently denies the possibility. And it's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the number that were in the air. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, actually. Well, time to go with the hang on. Oops. Oh my god. Excuse me. Hold it! And here we go. Little ragazzo from Bohemia is mistaken about what he saw. Excuse me. Is something wrong, Master Guts? It's Master Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund Armstein! The head was on the tip of my tongue. John, something is very wrong. I know what I saw. There was a great balloon there. I swear it. I swear it over Bohemia. You can speak as much but language as you like, but it changes not. If you don't have evidence, Ragazzo, then I must tell your parents to punish you, eh? Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to punishments. Evidence? What is this evidence? Gives a simple example, young man. Photograph, for instance, intangible proof of what you claim. Well, why didn't you say so sooner? I have the photograph here. Oh, good gracious! Wait, what? What? I had not been up in the air for a little while, so I was very excited. Here's a camera! Oh my god, that is huge! I took lots and lots of photographs. Of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian exhibit, of the street of London, of the Oriel Cellar, the balloon! And the instantaneous kinesis experiment, did you take a picture of that? Ja, one picture! Really? You take one? But all I wanted was a part of the balloon. I was not interested in body experiments. Never mind that. Can you show us that photograph? Of course. And then you will see. You will see that I'm not lying. That I really did see a green balloon. It's black and white, kid. Well, I've the Gerald to shock to speak. Yes. I think shock is indeed the word, young man.
Yeah, perhaps you cannot see that it's about as a green balloon from this photograph, but that is not my fault! It's the fault of the stupid person who made the camera!
Whoops! I accidentally passed his Italian accent. That is one very Bohemian sounding cry. Very well, the court will accept this photograph as evidence.
It's not my fault. It is all to the person who made the camera.
Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of World on Sepia memories to take home with you. There's something that I want to see. Who is this? The guy is here. I see Herbring here.
Wait a minute! There's absolutely something wrong here. Who is manning this balloon? I have to check it. In any case, when exactly did you take that photograph? Well, it was on the day of the big explosion. You don't say. When I pressed the shutter release, there was this very loud bang. And a hot wind rushed over my face. That means this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred. Well, if you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing. I could not give the flying fit. Lovely language you picked up. There it is. This is exactly what I was thinking.
Objection!
Unfortunately, the photograph Master Guts took can't tell us the color of the balloon, but it can tell us something else. Something crucially important. What? It shows that the pictured balloon wasn't carrying any passengers.
My goodness, you're right. Surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers. There would be no sense in it otherwise.
See, they are for pleasure for CW. My balloons only fly with passengers.
Which tells us that the pictured balloon isn't one of them. So when the incident occurred that day, there was a fourth balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. The mysterious green balloon.
I know nothing, nada. I can only tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine.
The balloon on his head is inflating on itself.
There are illegal tradesmen everywhere you care to look. Really?
Oops. Got stuck for a second. There it is.
Clearly, one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Exhibition and managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Loon's patch without him realizing.
See, the competition trying to steal my profits. I did not notice because of the experimento that went wrong on the stage.
This fourth balloon exploded at the very same moment Mr. Asman was beamed from the stage below. Right, so them scraps that fell to the ground after I left them scorch marks, they didn't come from the stage at all. It was bits of the balloon raining down. But because no one was in it, they didn't get no attention. There's four balloon carrying no passengers silently floating over the experimentation stage?
Objection! This photograph shows nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one and appeared by some rogue trader. Clearly, it has nothing to do with the case.
This relevance does elude me, I must say.
This court has seen sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded.
They are not convinced. No one is convinced. Really? I've really got to the truth yet? No, I can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up. They're not in our favor. What else can this photograph tell us? Is there nothing more we can learn from it?
Objection!
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait! Please don't give your decisions yet. The photograph from Master Guts may well be hiding one more vital clue.
What's that?
A vital clue?
Objection! We're well past the point of mere possibilities. It's time for definitives now, so tell the court! What exactly does this alleged clue in the photograph do?
because of the explosion. We can reasonably assume that the picture balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was not my fault.
Evidently, because the birdcage from the kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying.
And the balloon being filled with flammable hydrogen instantly and explosively ignited.
Objection.
Nope, that's not true. That's not what happened.
What? It would appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Counsel for the defense, you will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph for the court.
The beam. I saw the beam. Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see. And what's shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have, in a way that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. Clue that heavily suggests the real reason the balloon exploded is this little beam. Could it be what I think it is?
Take that!
The timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous. If you look, you'll notice there's a bright white line that appears to point directly at the balloon. There's important something here. If this was actually because of the cannon, we wouldn't still have the guy over there. Most likely a ray of light caused incidentally on the film.
I'm afraid I can see nothing of the sort.
If you look at it with a magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clear what the nature of this bright line really is.
Goodness, what is that? Undeniable, some flash of light, Jess.
Oh, golly. Do you think it might be the lightning?
But it couldn't have been a finer day.
I believe we might be looking at fire.
A bolt of fire heading straight for the balloon, like an arrow. Indeed, even to my aging eyes, it would appear to be a flame of some sort. My word! Are you suggesting this flame struck the hydrogen gas that filled the balloon?
Objection!
That's absurd! The balloon would have been 60 feet above the ground at the time. No flame could possibly have reached such a height.
Objection!
Actually, it is my opinion that a particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how that is exactly what had happened.
What evidence?
The crossbow.
If such evidence exists, Counsel, then for goodness sake, present it, man! Which evidence is placed that mysterious streak of flame that appears to be headed directly for the balloon?
Take that!
This was found hidden at the foot of a small ornamental tree near the scene.
Good lord! Is that a crossbow?
A narrow dip in oil and set alight would have been shot from this weapon. And then a flaming arrow straight into the hydrogen-filled balloon.
Are you suggesting that crossbow was used to deliberately?
Blimey, you're right! The streak of light on the photo looks like an arrow, doesn't it?
Then the explosion of the balloon it was! Very likely there's a flaming arrow from this crossbow, igniting the hydrogen gas inside.
Oh, God! Order! Order! Counsel, this is an extraordinary supposition!
If the aim was to cause the balloon to explode, the shooter could have used a gun, of course. However, there's an obvious reason why that would have been out of the question.
The noise of the discharge? Of course.
That's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile could be fired at the balloon silently. Well, yeah. If someone had shot a gun off in the exhibition ground, it would have caused a real panic. But with the big explosion, there was a very good panic anyway, no? I don't like this. We should be pleased to have found a plausible new explanation for all this, but something feels wrong.
Objection!
Did you understand the implication of what you're saying, my Japanese friend?
A flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon. Then it obviously would have exploded. And if the birdcage appeared from a cloud of smoke, then it should. But wait a minute! What are you saying here? I don't get it. Was the birdcage beam up into the sky after all? Or what?
My goodness, me!
Now I understand. That's what this sinking feeling was about. And there's a good chance that the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon all along. What?
What? Did I just hear that correctly, Council?
There's no going back now. Worst has bolted. Let's assume, as I said, birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start. On stage, when the experiment was started, the birdcage in the instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground, causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators to the sky above their heads. From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage then appeared to fall down and crash into the crystal tower. I think you'll all agree that it's entirely plausible that what I've just described is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out that day.
Yes, good grief!
Objection!
This is ludicrous! What you've described is no science experiment. It's child's play, a contemptible display of stage magic.
Both Mr. Schaub and I said the experiment was a scientific impossibility. In which case, this is the only way to explain what happened.
In any case, the victim's body was found inside the birdcage in the crystal tower.
Temple. Airbrain is gonna be very angry.
The instantaneous kinesis, didn't it? How did you explain that?
If I may put a word, as a man of magic myself, such apparent discrepancies can easily be explained by some simple deception. Juror number 3. All that would be needed is a doppelganger, or someone who looked very similar to the victim, Mr. Asman. And having this other man appear on stage to front the show as a body double. Ah, well, yes, of course. So in fact, Mr. Asman must have been inside the birdcage that was concealed inside the balloon right from the start.
Objection!
That balloon would have been filled with hydrogen. Anything hidden inside it would have been scattered to the 4 winds when it exploded. No one would ever have embarked on such a risky venture.
Sir, explosive force of the balloon gas would very much depend upon the mixture ratio.
You number 4?
Flying balloons are rarely filled with pure hydrogen, a mixture of other gases such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered.
The mixture ratio?
Obviously, the victim's body would have suffered some burns, but being unavoidable.
What did I get? Get a lost track of this.
Would be unavailable. But not such an extent as to render this whole obscene charade impossible.
So everything that happened can be explained logically and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was no accident. It was all part of an elaborate deception to make it appear that instantaneous kinesis had occurred.
Well, that's me.
And if we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Asman, was never present on the public experimental stage to begin with. What's figuring? Of course! But wait. There's more here. The guy that entered the machine was alive. But we already are talking about Madame Tussauds. Makes absolutely perfect wax figure. Bohemian boy. In short, he couldn't have been killed by the defendant who was on stage in full view the entire time. Ah! This will be very hard for the prosecution to counter. Take note of that? Lord Van Six can credibly maintain the Professor Harebrained is a suspect now. Don't worry, the Professor will do it on his own.
Mr. Naruto, I appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
Professor?
But you can stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please.
Sorry? What's all this about, Mr. Harebrained?
I, Albert Harebrained, hereby confess that it was me who stabbed Mr. Oriasman. Yes, it was me with my faithful friend and partner, Andrew the Screwdriver.
What? What are you doing? He's going to protect that machine at the cost of his own life. Order!
Order! Order! Defendant, explain this sudden confession!
Professor Harebrained, what are you talking about?
It's what I've said all along. I must protect my hypotheses and my precious machine.
Yeah, of course.
You stand there and claim it was all a trick. I'll let it never let bang, but where's your proof? No, you'd have to examine the machine if you wanted to prove it, but then it would be over. My beautiful hypothesis will be laid bare. I mean the dignity of it.
It's clear that you drew these plans for the experiment, but you didn't actually build it. It's quite conceivable that they were duped, Professor. If you'll just let me, I can prove—
Barak!
Yes?
The culprit. I'll do whatever you say. I swear it. So please. Ensure that this special dispensation for scientific equipment I adhere to and protect my creation.
I cannot believe that this is happening. Pray, forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice at this critical juncture. Here's to my learned Nipponese friend. What? And his upcoming attempt to clarify the defense's position in the light of the accused's confession. You intend to formally assert that the experiment was nothing more than a conjuring. The moment you do, special dispensation for scientific equipment that protects the professor in bench will cease to apply. The prosecution will then demand a rigorous examination of the machinery involved in order to establish the truth. However, if you acknowledge that the machine is genuine and instrumental in the victim's murder, any chance of investigating will be crushed, and the confidentiality of the processor hypothesis preserved.
Well, counsel, what is the defense's official position on this matter?
What Professor Harebrained, my client, actually asked for was to prove that the explosion on stage was an accident and protect the secrecy of its hypothesis. There's no way to do that without implying the professor's guilt. I protect my client's life by asserting his innocence, or do I uphold my client's request to see him condemned? Either way, I can avoid betraying his trust. Silent long enough. Isn't talking your trade, my learned friend?
or has all knowledge of English escaped your confused Nipponese mind?
That is frustrating. I don't know what to do. If they make me ask, if they make me answer like the player myself, what am I do?
Mr. Naruhodo!
No escape here. To make a choice. It's an impossible one. Have to give up on something, but what? The defense asserts that the defense in Insignius Kinex's machine was in fact. Wow! I'm actually feeling it right now. I'm actually feeling the stress of this decision. There's something in particular about this series. Normally you have to protect your client at all costs. But what is that? If I keep trying to fight for the fact that it's a proper scientific invention, I'm lying. I'm 100% lying. And that could get me in trouble as well in the game. But not only that, this is a mockery of an experiment. And somebody else is gonna be found guilty for a death that was not. Sorry about that.
Oh, I can see it! My client placed his faith in me! You can let him down!
What must I keep up on? Is not the question you have to ask yourself here. It's, what can I protect? What? What must I keep up on? It's not the question you have to ask yourself here. It's, what can I protect? Hello again, Mr. Naruhodo. It's been far too long. Sato-san! Oh, it's her objection theme! But what are you— Hiya! In court! Ah, my first Susanoo takedown in 6 months! There'll be time to talk later, Mr. Naruhodo. For now, we must concentrate on the task at hand. Which is working out not what I have to give up on, but what can I protect? Professor Hairbrain!
Yes?
Yesterday you told me that science is the pursuit of the truth. I knew it! Well, my job is to pursue the truth too.
Yes, of course.
And personally, I believe that you didn't stab Mr. Aspen. I think you've come to realize something yourself too, haven't you? That your experiment and the machine you built with the victim are unquestionable. The truth behind that is what we must both pursue now. Oh, my leg! So you finally opened your eyes. What? And as for you, Albert, don't ignore this any longer. Having heard my learned friend's assertion, don't you have something to say?
Rock!
Lord Ben 6?
Gosh! I've never heard him speak that way before.
In truth, there is one thing. Something I remember that's of relevance.
What?
On the day it happened, just before I began the experiment, I saw a man near the stage. A man holding that crossbow.
I beg your pardon? Professor? Did the man have any distinguished features? What did he look like?
Tall, taller than me, and thinner than me, with straight hair, straighter and wider than mine. Let me see. One less length than me, too, a monocle, a rather stylish black monocle. But one thing in particular will have to possibly identify the man, you see. I know him very well. After all, he's the engineer who built my invention.
What? He built a machine?
That's right. Mr. Asman introduced him to me a year ago. He's a man by the name of Enoch Drebber.
Enoch. What's the pun here?
Enoch? Drebber?
Does this name mean something? Members of the jury are flustered.
Name any scientist wishes to hear that nonsense demands an abomination.
Not a name any conjurer wishes to hear either. Who on earth is he?
First, this isn't the first tale of this nature that I've heard of any scientific circle in connection with that name. Talk of other flamboyant experiment that turned out to be nothing but stage trickery in the end. Obviously, the rascal is after the government's research grant money.
When magicians are in need of money, I have heard them resorting to these underhand tactics. Some acquaintances of mine with experience of such thing have mentioned Enoch Drebber's name before.
The man is both an engineer and a magician. Yes, dealing with an unparalleled confident trickster here. And that's Enoch Drebber for you.
Enoch Drebber. You can't escape this anymore, hairbrains. You didn't build this.
So it's true then. My invention. My great machine. It was just a grand illusion?
Considering what we just heard about Mr. Drebber's character, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely.
Even though no one else believed it. I wanted to. I wanted to believe that machine would function exactly as my hypothesis predicted.
Which is why you were so opposed to it being investigated, I presume.
I knew that if the machine was examined in detail, its construction would give away my hypothesis. Obviously, I didn't want that to happen, but at the same time, I knew that if it was found to be nothing more than a trick and a worker deception, then everything I'd worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, my whole life would be over. I was terrified at the prospect.
So you really had no idea then, did you? About the true nature of the machine that was built. True nature of Mr. Drebber.
I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it.
It's entirely possible that Mr. Asman and Mr. Drebber were working together to use you as a means of fraudulently acquiring the research grant money.
When I announced my invention of the crowds that day, it was the finest moment of my career. I pulled all the levers and turned all the dials in exactly the way Mr. Drebber had described. When the smoke suddenly started billowing out, I panicked. I didn't know what was happening. But I really don't know how the whole illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore.
Let me confirm one final point with you, Professor. Do you now consent to the prosecution submitting the necessary paperwork to release your invention from the protection afforded by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act?
Yes. Please go ahead. I'm very sorry.
Well, finally, we can investigate actually.
It will appear that we shall have to suspend proceeding for the remainder of the day now. Orban 6.
My lord?
The car has nearly been made aware of another party whose involvement in this matter is critical.
Yes, Mr. Trevor.
For information about the man.
If possible, I should like him served with a subpoena. With pleasure, my lord.
Now, counsel for the defense.
Yes, my lord?
When we reconvene, shall be looking for one thing, and one thing alone from you. Evidence that the defendant is innocent of a crime for which he presently stands accused.
I understand.
Good. In that case, this court is adjourned until tomorrow morning.
Pusato's back!
Mr. Naruhodo!
Yes?
I'm so sorry! I was wrong. You were right. I dragged you. You trusted me. I dragged you into my mess. How did it ever come to this? I'm so sorry!
Did you really have no idea, Professor? About what Mr. Trevor was really up to, I mean? About what he was really constructing?
Naturally. That machine was the embodiment of my hypothesis of all my hopes and dreams. I have complete faith in it.
Alright, in that case I won't say any more. Now sadly the murder accusation against you still stands. We must do as much investigation as we can before the trial resumes tomorrow.
Well, thank you for doing so much for me.
Susato is back. I'm so happy to see her again.
I'm so sorry for arriving late this morning, Mr. Naruhodo.
Arriving late?
Didn't you receive my postcard? I wanted to let you know when I'd arrived.
Postcard? What postcard? Of course!
I hid it from you, Reno, so it would be a surprise.
What's wrong? What's wrong, Perry? I just realized that you sent me these emotes of a sad cat.
Well, did it work?
I was surprised, alright, especially when she threw me to the ground.
Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I was just so happy to see you again that it sort of slipped out.
Maybe we could stick to more traditional displays of emotion in future.
Jesus train was late into London Victoria this morning, you see. But we made a coachman really whip the horse's heart so she didn't miss the whole trial. I was watching from the gallery for a while, but in the end I'm afraid I couldn't contain myself.
Well, I'm glad you didn't. Having you at my side in court really gives me the strength I need to win. So, I'm delighted to see you back in London.
Oh, you're too kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm delighted to be here. I hope I can continue to be of service to you.
Of course. So, what's brought you back? Did Professor Mikotova not protest?
Let's save all the conversation for when we're back at home, shall we? You know, I made one of my most special blends ever for this special occasion. Oh, Iris, how wonderful! I can't wait!
Susato-san was back in London. It really was the return of the Great Departed Soul. I just realized that that's why this name is named. This case is named like that. It's hard to describe how happy that made me feel at the time, but despite my elation, our tale was about to take yet another extraordinary turn. If this is to be continued, I'm gonna be so thankful for that. Yes! So that means one thing. I can finally finish for the day. My throat is already very tired. Nah, not actually. I just want to finish for the day. It's been already a stream of 2 hours and a half. So I don't think it's a bad thing if I finish for today. Is that okay with you, everybody? For now? I think that all I can do is say hi to everybody. Thank you so much for being with me. I'll make sure that that I go back to the title screen. So a lot has been put on the table. So long? Exactly. Wait, I'm not a gay Bowser. Just gay. Well, for now, all that we can do is see you next time after this. I'm so happy that Susato is back. I cannot wait to start investigating with her and having discussions about stairs with her. Or step ladders. Sorry, step ladders and ladders. You know, the kind of always kind of face attorney discussion that we're going here. I think it's time for us to finish for the day. I just have to do a little thingy, and I'll see you next time. This is a little thingy. What can I say?